Now, the problems with business today, I want you to imagine, I've had 1,000 clients who've come to me, and many of them have been very frustrated. Because let's take a client like Bill or like yourself and see if these problems apply to you. The biggest problem that businesses have, number one reason for business failure today is low sales. Number one reason for business, the insufficient cash flow, low revenues are the biggest problem we have. Are you suffering from lower sales than you want today? Well, good, you've come to the right place. Ineffective marketing. That means you're not attracting enough prospects. When I started my first business, I kind of joke, when I started my first business, I learned to sell again. I sold my house, I sold my car, I sold my furniture, I sold every investment I'd accumulated in 15 years. I sold everything. I even had to borrow from my younger brothers. I even had to borrow against my car in order to stay alive because I didn't have the sales and all the marketing I did. I did mailings, I did billboards, I did radio, television, I did direct mail. I did everything you could imagine, even newspapers, and nothing worked until I began to study marketing. If ineffective marketing is a problem with you, join the crowd. It's the number one problem in attracting new customers. Number three, ineffective sales systems is I would actually go out and see people and they wouldn't buy. I wasn't closing enough sales. People were always saying, well, let me think it over. Let me think it over. Leave it with me. Send me some information in the mail. I'll get back to you later. You've heard this before? Well, I finally learned that the reason was because I wasn't selling professionally, and I solved that pretty quickly. And many of my clients have come to me with the same challenge. Another that you might have is poor financial planning. We worry about money most of the time. That most people in business worry about money. They get up in the morning, think about money. All day long they think about money, and sometimes they lay awake at night thinking about money. And this is not a good way to live. And this is something that we can resolve, and we will very soon. Competition is another major problem that might have. It's more aggressive and it's more determined than ever before. Your competition gets up every morning thinking of ways to put you out of business if they possibly can. Another problem is website is not generating the business you expect. You may have a great website, but somehow you do internet mailings and nothing happens. I once did a mailing to 800,000 names that I bought from a very highly selective list. I got 2 responses, and neither of them bought. You know what I'm talking about? Another challenge is customers are more demanding and disloyal today. They're more impatient than ever before. Yes, they want this and they want that and they want lower prices and they want better service and they don't want to pay for it. And not only that, they'll abandon you and walk across the street to save a little bit of money. And here's a great question. Is it going to get better or worse in the future? It's going to get worse. It gets tough, but when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. There's difficulty finding and keeping good people in your business. Is that a problem for you? For years, my front office door was a revolving door. People came in and out and in and out and in and out. So hard to get good people. But you know something? You cannot grow your business unless you can find good people. If you can't do that, your business has no future. If you can't solve any of these problems, by the way, you're going to join that 80% of people that grew up. You have too much to do and too little time. You're swamped from morning to night. Some entrepreneurs working 60, 70, 80 hours a week, 7 days a week, and they do this for years and they never get ahead. And then the worst of all is your life gets completely out of bounds. Not enough time for your family and friends. Interesting point is you started your business so that you could have greater freedom. Sometimes we joke and we say when you start your new business, you only have to work half time and you can pick any 12-hour period that you like. Here's some interesting statistics from the Kauffman Foundation. 95% of business owners today take home less than $50,000 per year and retire with almost no savings. They work their whole life away and they retire with almost nothing. 70% of Americans today live from paycheck to paycheck. Most Americans, even high-earning Americans, are only 2 months away from homelessness. If their income was cut off, they wouldn't be able to make their mortgage payment. And this is not a great way to live. Dun & Bradstreet says that fully 90% of entrepreneurs that fail do so because of a lack of essential business knowledge and skill. In other words, they wouldn't have had to fail if they had known what they were doing. And most entrepreneurs get into business by default. In other words, they just are forced into it. They're out of a job. They're between jobs, they see an opportunity, and they don't realize that the easiest thing of all in America is getting into a business in the first place, but making it succeed is very hard. SCORE, the Society of Retired Executives, says that more than 70% of business failures could have been prevented if the business owner had sought out advice from experts. If they had just raised their hand and said, look, I need some advice, it would have transformed their lives, saved their businesses, saved their families, their homes, their cars, and maybe even saved years of hard work that they invested in their business and which was lost when their business shut down. There are 10 requirements for business success. Let's go over them quickly and see how you're doing. Number one, you need a proper product or service. This is something that people really want and need and pay for and buy again and again. And if your product or service doesn't do that, then you better get your product or service upgraded or changed so that it does. You need a proper marketing plan to attract new prospects. Not a hope and a wish and a prayer, but a plan that brings them in consistently. You need a proper sales plan to convert prospects to customers. Every single person that works in your business has got to be following the same playbook, if you like. They can't all be saying whatever falls out of their mouth when they talk to a customer. You need a proper production plan to create your products and services in a high-quality way. You need a proper distribution plan. You've got to get your products and services to your customers in a timely way so that they're happy and satisfied. You need a proper financial plan to acquire and manage money. And by the way, this is a learnable skill. You just simply think on paper, which we'll talk about in a couple of minutes. You need a proper pricing plan to maximize profit from sales, to raise or lower your prices so that you get the maximum profit possible from the highest volume of sales profit. You need a proper people plan to find, recruit, and hire that aren't getting any better. When you start to get better, you start to move ahead. It's like stepping on the accelerator of your own business. You start to move ahead, you have more sales, you have greater profits, you have more dependability and predictability and so on. Remember, the best businesses have the best people. The second best businesses have the second best people. The third best businesses are on their way out of it. Now, your most valuable asset is your ability to think better than your competition.
Our carefully curated selection of resources will empower you to achieve your money goals. Check the links down below. See you in the next video.